Hey hi hello there warriors, rogues, mages, warlocks and otherwise. Welcome to Tiger in the Tube show of stuff. I play World of Warcraft a lot, and since Warlords of Draenor came out a couple of weeks ago I've been playing it even more, and I've been really super duper into it. I'm really enjoying it, but there's just something, it feels like it's missing, you know? Like in this massive, expansive, sweeping fantasy world, we're just missing a couple of representative factors. Now, before we get started, I just want to say that I know that in the grand scheme of things, this isn't going to change anything. The WoW dev team aren't going to see this video and go, you know what, that one guy on the internet is totally right. We do need more variety in our plot catalogue and character roster. Hell, I know that the WoW dev team isn't going to see this at all, but I still think that it's something that is really important to say, especially given the current climate around video games and the discussions that are happening. WoW has a lot of male NPCs, like huge numbers of them. It's a veritable sausage fest up in there. And I know that we have a couple of really kick-ass female characters like Jaina, Sylvanas, Agrasun, and most recently Yrel, but those characters are kind of relegated to the role of background brooding in the case of Sylvanas. They're knocked out of the equation with a baby in the case of Agra, or they're killed off entirely like Sun. I'm actually really honestly worried about what they're going to do to Yrel as this expansion progresses, because she is my absolute favourite character in the whole of WoW right now. I love her, and I'm just really scared that they're going to wreck her or break her in some way, and I don't want that. It already feels like she exists solely to placate the people who've complained that WoW doesn't have enough female representation, and while it's a start, it's not really enough. And even with its paltry representation for well-developed female characters, WoW's representation for queer characters is, non-existent. There are literally no canonical not straight characters in this game. This is supposed to be a massive fantasy thing where I'm able to immerse myself in the story and the world, but when there's nobody who's actually like me in that world, it makes it very, very difficult. I RP my rogue in the game as gay, because it's the best representation of me that I can get. It's supposed to be my avatar in the game, after all. But when there's no other characters who are like that in the story, it makes me feel really out of place, and not necessarily unwelcome, but just like I don't fit in. And at this stage, I'd be happy with pretty much anything than what we've currently got, because what we've got is nothing, and anything would be better than that. Say, a female paladin who lost their girlfriend to the Scourge and now they want revenge. Or a pansexual goblin who makes passes at characters of various genders throughout a series of quests. Or why not a queer rogue named Alex, who's a break-off adventurer from Ravenhold, out finding his way in Draenor, or wherever he happens to be. Now, before anybody says, WoW's not going to cater to that, that's a minority thing, let me tell you something. I was very curious, so I did a survey with the help of some of my Twitter followers to get the word out, and while the number of responses I was able to get is very small in comparison to the size of the actual WoW player base, the results were still very interesting. For instance, 53% of the people who responded to my survey who play WoW are male identifying, which is only just over half. 47% of WoW's player base are either female identifying or non-binary. And that's not even the most interesting thing. But what's more interesting though is the data that I gathered around sexuality. In the general population, so all of the people in the whole world who play WoW or don't play WoW, 90% of people identify as straight, roughly, which leaves 10% of people to identify as any of the not straight kind of identities, like gay, bisexual, pansexual, asexual, that kind of thing. But in my survey results, the people that I surveyed, 64% of people said that they were straight, which left a massive 36% of people identifying as one of the queer or not straight identities, which isn't really that much of a minority at all. Again, as I said, I realise that the results of my survey are limited, but I would love to do it on a bigger scale. Hell, I would love to be able to take stock of the entire WoW player base, and I know that's not going to happen, but I could potentially do it on a larger scale. I just don't know what resources that I have to do that. So if you do know something that could help me do this, please let me know, because it's something that I'm really super interested in. Meanwhile, do you think that WoW needs more female representation or more not straight representation? Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. And please remember to share this video with all of your friends and family and everything like that, especially people who play WoW, because I do really want their opinions on this topic. Also, please remember to like this video because it will help my self-esteem and it'll just make me feel like a generally top guy. Bye! And now, an advertisement. When War Chief Vol'jin told the Blood Elves to subscribe to Tiger in the Tube show of stuff, or face being excommunicated from the Horde, we were reluctant at first. But then we went and checked it out, and honestly, it's rather fabulous. He's almost as dashing as I am. Okay, that was a lie. But he is quite fabulous, and you should subscribe.